Hello friends and welcome to the start of a new video. In this video I'm going to be talking about a popular Booktok series, dark fantasy romance, because I love my fantasies. I don't know why I removed the dust jacket. Oh, it's so bright. The Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. This is book 2. Book 1, book 2. And I have the whole series. I'll just add these two for now with me, but how gorgeous is that? This edition has like a wave on it. Oh my god, just look at this art. This is literally a picture of the castle, or is it Ibel it's called. It's on a mountain. And then we have this as well. Just like a little art. Love it. But anyway, I decided to try this series and it seemed to be so controversial. Unpopular opinion, the whole lot. Apparently, book 1 was disliked by a lot of people because it had a lot of heavy subject, and I absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. So I decided to do a little video about this book specifically. So in this book we're following Oren. Oren is gold touch, or so it appears in the book. And that means that Oren is basically gold. Her whole body, her hair, everything. And she is the pet. She appears to be the pet of some king, King Midas. I really need to figure out his name. King Midas, let's go with that, decides to keep this girl named Oren in his castle. She's in a cage, and apparently Midas, King Midas, can touch things and they become gold. And he apparently touched Oren, and so she became his golden prisoner, plated prisoner. And the story begins with Oren just literally being in her cage watching King Midas just enjoying life and with other women. And it's a little bit crude. The beginning is has quite an impact, but this is still very enjoyable. And Oren at the beginning of the book is very likable as far as I'm concerned, but a little bit subdued. She doesn't want to voice her opinion, so we're just following her as she's navigating her life as a golden plated prisoner in a cage. She doesn't seem to want to literally interact with anyone else except King Midas. She seems to enjoy her life as his pet, and we're just following her as she tries to make friends with the other woman under King Midas' protection. And although they're not in cages, they're called saddles in the book, and that means that men can ride them. So yeah, but anyway, Oren is also called a saddle, but she's supposed to be his favorite saddle. So she's trying to make friends with the other saddle, and we have some crude scenes, but overall what I really like about this book is that it felt a lot like an adventure, the start of an adventure, because without going into it too much, there's a little of a political conflict happening. There's a lot of kingdoms, and they all have very funny names. There's first kingdom, second kingdom, third kingdom, fourth kingdom, fifth kingdom, and I believe sixth, maybe. So anyway, Oren is a fun okay, so yeah, she's in the 6th kingdom with King Midas. So that's where it's happening. And if you want a whole winter vibe thing, which is pretty good because right now it's winter, this is also a good read because it's happening in a place where it's extremely frigid, snowstorms. Yeah, it's very cold and there's a lot of snow. So it's definitely full-time winter there. And she's in this 6th kingdom, and as I've mentioned, it's a little bit political because there's this little conflict apparently between 4th kingdom and 5th kingdom, and 6th kingdom, controlled by King Midas, decide to, at the beginning of the book, seems to want to strike a deal with 5th kingdom to maybe take 4th kingdom. That is so confusing, even though it's just simple numbers. But anyway, this book opens up with Oren just kind of like hearing about these like political ploy going on with Midas and the king of 5th kingdom. And somehow things happen without going into it too much. But Oren ends up traveling, and she discovers the world without too much protection as she's used to, as she was used to in her life. You have this little glimpse of her past, how she met King Midas, and I just thought it was a really extremely enjoyable ride. I did not expect to go into this with like a whole lot of romance, as I've heard a lot about this book being a foundation book for the whole series, which is a huge series of 6 books with a lot of pages. But if you like a long series, very drowned out, a little bit of a slower pace, but very character driven, with some expansionally more in-depth fantasy world as the series progresses. I'm on book 4 right now. This is definitely for you. Just a little disclaimer, book 1 is a little bit heavy on some of the topics with the saddle and the woman. There's some scenes that might be hard to read, but I think there's maybe 2 or 3 or maybe just 2 in the whole book, so it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I've heard so many things about this book being terrible about that, but I mean, it's bad, but it feels realistic in the situation she's in. So those are my thoughts. First book of the Plated Prisoner series. I thought an extremely good foundational book. Oren is very likable as a character. You can see that there's room for a lot of growth. And I really like the characters. I like the interaction between the different saddle, and I thought it was extremely words are so hard. Extremely the atmosphere is great, okay? It really pulls you in, and it's winter theme to the core. Loved it. Gave it 5 stars.